Hello everyone and welcome to another video here on Jurassic Collectibles. Today we are doing something a little more special as the team at Zebra Partners have kindly organised for us to interview Adam Minton, the marketing manager at Funko Games. And we are going to be discussing the upcoming Jurassic World, the Legacy of Isla Nublar. So Adam, thank you for joining us here on Jurassic Collectibles.
Thank you. My pleasure.
It's great having you here. So we are doing this off the back of some fantastic news. The Kickstarter has surpassed its target. So how are you feeling seeing that it's done so well? And how does it feel to have so much support from both the Jurassic and Legacy gaming communities?
I mean, it has been a wild past week. This is our first Kickstarter as a studio, as Prospero Hall and as Funko Games. We didn't know what to expect, right? This game has been in development for so long, and it's kind of, putting your precious thing out in the wild and seeing what happens. And then we hit go, and the numbers just shot through the roof. And in under 2 hours, we were fully funded. At this point, we're a week in with 2 more weeks to go. We're 300% funded. People are really reacting to this game in such a loving and positive way, and the excitement that we're feeling both from the fans, both from the collectors, from the Funko Games audience, from the Jurassic audience, from the hardcore board game audience. We are feeling that in the studio, and it is just charging us with so much energy and excitement as we continue on further into the Kickstarter and closer to getting it in people's hands later this year.
That's really great to hear, and I'm happy to hear that it's being so energizing for all of you as well. So we will come on to that Kickstarter and we will talk more about where the project is going, what's on the horizon for this. But before we jump into that, for anyone who's watching this who perhaps isn't familiar with the game for whatever reason, I think it would be really nice to get you to just give people a brief overview of how Legacy of Isla Nublar first came into existence.
So the concept for Jurassic World: The Legacy of Isla Nublar came from this forum internally that we have within the studio, where anyone can put any idea they could possibly have about their fantasy game that they want to design. And about a few years ago, somebody put in, "Hey, I'd really like to make a Legacy style game in Jurassic Park." And that is where this started. And so from day one, this was always a Legacy style board game taking place in Jurassic Park. We kept adding more into it, so the game got bigger and bigger. It eventually became Jurassic World, because now we're covering the entire franchise from before Jurassic Park through all 5 movies that are currently out, everything in between, tons of original content we've been able to add in. We've been working hand in hand with Universal City Studios and Amblin Entertainment to kind of flesh out story that wasn't even in the movies. We've been working on this game for a long time, and are very excited now that we're so close to getting into people's hands.
Yeah, I can imagine it's a really interesting period of time as well, because I was looking at some of your content before we did this, and I saw it reference Camp Cretaceous as well, and I was like, of course, in the period you've been working on this, Jurassic's first television show has come out as well, which is
Yep.
cool to think about. So obviously you said it's been in development for the past 2 years. I'm going to ask you, what were some of the biggest challenges? I have a feeling I know what the main challenge might be, because it's a challenge that a lot of different sectors have faced. But yeah, were there any unexpected things that popped up during the development of the game?
Yeah, I mean, as a surprise to no one, COVID happened. So, a good amount of this development process was done in quarantine, with people, on video chats. And, we had, there's somebody in the office whose kind of job for the past 2 years has been to drive from people's houses to drop files off and print samples and, coordinating this all. It all happened. So we overcame that challenge, but that was definitely a curveball that we had to adjust and modify. And I mean, this is one of many, many games that we were working on in this time period. So we got used to it, but it did take a little bit of time to figure out the right rhythm of design and playtesting, because I'm sure you can imagine playtesting this game was a huge undertaking.
Yeah.
I don't think we've really talked about the scope of this game yet, but this is essentially 12 board games in one. So the game is constantly changing from adventure to adventure across the 12 adventures. So playtesting all of those possible scenarios and choices, we've never designed a game this big and this developed and this with all the crazy possibilities that could come. So that was another challenge / opportunity that we had to kind of really hone in on our playtesting process and make sure we really hammered out every possible situation that could have come up throughout this entire campaign.
I think it's been really interesting, hasn't it? Because it's been a big challenge for a lot of companies, but I know for the organisation that I work for, it's also made us aware that a lot of the mechanisms we have in place could be a bit more fine-tuned using technology. So it's been interesting seeing how we've been able to adapt in that regard as well over the past year. Challenges and opportunities, I'd say.
Yes.
So I'm interested. Obviously, this film, this game even covers the 5 films in total. So you've got JP 1 through 3, then Jurassic World and Fallen Kingdom. So I guess from sort of like a really top-down perspective, what is it like knowing that you're getting to work on something that is layering in those key moments that fans know? And is there kind of a pressure to that almost, where you're having to reimagine these moments that are so near and dear to so many fans, I guess?
Yeah, so to answer the first part, in the studio, we're kind of obsessed with Jurassic Park. This is not even the first Jurassic Park game we've made. This is the biggest. This is kind of where we've been working toward for quite a while now. But this game was in very, very good hands from its inception all the way through. I mean, we're crazy about the franchise. We know all the little tidbits and secrets, and being able to walk hand in hand with Universal and Amblin every step of the way, and making sure that we're really properly addressing all of these key moments and key elements within the franchise and doing them justice has been really exciting for everybody. They kind of lifted the curtain back a little bit and gave us access to assets from the original movies, right? So the sculpts, the minis, are actually files from Industrial Light and Magic that we were able to adapt into the sculpts and minis that we have in the game. And then the second half of that, so our studio has been working in IP and intellectual property titles for over 20 years.
Yeah.
So we really care about finding ways to put our players in the middle of the action, in the middle of the situations, living out these stories, but still making it their own.
Yeah.
And in Jurassic World: The Legacy of Isla Nublar, we've kind of put that on a shot of adrenaline, where not only are you going to have encounters that you're used to and things that you might expect, there's all new situations that we're throwing you into. And at the end of the day, you're designing your personal version of Jurassic Park, of Jurassic World. So no two versions of this game, if you have a copy and I have a copy, and we compare them at the end of Adventure 12, at the end of the finale, they're going to be completely different. So that's kind of the excitement of, we're all working towards similar goals, but the way that we do it and the tools that we're unlocking along the way are going to be wildly different from person to person. So it's always going to feel fresh and exciting, even though you might know that, hey, there's going to be a power outage at some point, or other kind of key moments from the franchise.
I think that's cool, and that sort of leans a lot into what we were talking about before we started recording, which is obviously by my backdrop, I'm very into video games, and they give you that kind of similar sense of ownership where you're getting to be in that world, but you're also getting to sort of take control of it and have your own
Yeah.
slice of it. And I think that's really special, and that's where I think certainly, at least for me, I've never seen a game that really does that in the way that a legacy game does. So I think that's really exciting for people. So obviously we're a collectibles channel.
Mhm.
So I have to talk about the physical items that we get with this. So the big draw that I've seen for a lot of people, and indeed something that's got me really excited, is some of the artwork that's included in this. So I wanted to just get you to sort of do a little breakdown of everything that people can expect to have in the box.
Absolutely. So starting with the cover art, and I'll just kind of
I love
show
this. Show and
this.
tell.
I mean, it is absolutely stunning. Right away, you get the idea that this is not only recognizable, it's not just Jurassic Park, but we have Owen Grady on the cover, right? So you know that you're getting into Jurassic World as well. So it's that you're going to be experiencing all of these iconic story elements and things, but in a fresh perspective. So the art style that we went with, and let me pull up this here, is this very like 1950s pulp sci-fi comic style, and the way that we were able to use this in kind of creating this aged and weathered kind of precious experience that you can only get with this game. And we continue the comic book motif all the way through. This is the initial rule book, but then every adventure comes with its own adventure guide and additional artwork and really exciting surprises along the way. You can see even on the cards, we've kind of done this, dual tone pen and ink style art style, which it's unexpected for this franchise, and it's a way that we can put our stamp on it and make it very clear that this is a new experience. This is something that you haven't seen or played before, but still being in this world that we all know and love.
Yeah. I think that's really cool as well, because when you think about this franchise, obviously it has those pieces of iconography, like the T-Rex, like the Velociraptors. So actually finding a way to do something that's not reinventing the wheel, but is still different to everything else, is a challenge. And artwork is something that I don't think, at least I've seen, any other sort of licensee really go down the path of doing and experimenting with. And I think the result is, like you say, something really unique that people are excited about. So that gives us a good overview, but I'm going to put you on the spot a little bit here, and I'm going to bring some personal opinion into this. So I want to know, what are some of your favorite items in the core box? And is there anything that you're really excited for fans to get their hands on when they get this in hand?
Absolutely. So for me, it's the minis.
Cool.
I have the T-Rex right here.
Nice.
So you can see here like the crazy amount of detail in all of these, and we made sure that from mini to mini, there is a scale of the dinosaur itself, right? So we include dinosaurs from the Velociraptors, which are kind of more human-sized, all the way up to the Brachiosaurus, which is the size of a building. So the way we were able to scale these minis to make them feel like they belong at the same table is they're not just the dinosaur itself, right? They are scenes and iconic moments from the movie. And then that way we can have the Brachiosaurus feel gigantic and tall, right? All we see is her neck and head coming up over the foliage, and then the raptors feel like they belong at the same table, right? Because the dinosaurs themselves are in scale to one another.
That's so cool.
And then also in scale
set pieces to like set their scale, essentially.
Exactly.
That's really cool. I really like that. And I
Yeah.
think, again, it boils back to getting those things that fans are familiar with as well, doesn't it? Because obviously when you think about that first film, when you think Velociraptor, that scene of it looking through the kitchen door is one of the most iconic scenes. So it lets you sort of have your cake and eat it too, which is really awesome. So as we alluded to at the start of this, the Kickstarter has hugely surpassed its initial target. So huge congratulations on that, firstly. And I think you guys have done a fantastic job of just getting the community really behind this and getting people involved, having conversations about the game, which is fantastic. And obviously, since that initial target was met, I know that you've been very, very on the ball with communicating with the community, showing that you're listening to feedback around the Kickstarter exclusive side of things, which is great to see as well. So obviously, now we're at the point where, as of today, you're looking at the first Kickstarter bonus item, which is the amber coloured dinosaur. And then I'm sure there'll be more things down the line as well. So I kind of wanted to get a little bit of insight, I guess, into the ethos behind those special items. And how do you approach adding something more unique to something like a Kickstarter edition where it's got that additional value behind it?
Absolutely. So when we knew that we were going to bring this to Kickstarter, we said kind of upfront, right? Everything that we wanted to include in the box, we put in the box. And then we designed this gorgeous sleeve to go around the box, which is the first of our Kickstarter exclusives. Originally, it was going to be the Kickstarter exclusive. And immediately when we launched, we started getting amazing feedback from our community. And the communities, they look forward to these Kickstarter exclusives that maybe they're not going to be able to get at retail.
Yeah.
And so our value proposition from the beginning, and the reason why we came to Kickstarter, is we want this to be a dialogue. We want to listen to the community. We want to make sure that people know what they're getting and feel like this is a game worth putting on their shelves. So we kind of went right away into meetings to see what it is that we could create that will excite the fans, that will not increase the price of the game, that will not delay fulfillment of the game, and really add value to this Kickstarter exclusive edition, this Kickstarter edition of the game. So like you said, the first thing that we did was we knew that the sculpts are a huge part of this title, and so what we've done is, in the game there is this amber dye. So you can see here it's translucent, it has these gorgeous accents to it, catches the light beautifully. So the first of the Kickstarter exclusives is we decided to do one of the dinos in this amber dye, and we had a poll on BoardGameGeek.com to see what the fan reaction was and what they wanted for us to include. And I am so excited to confirm that we have been able to tool it in such a way and get it into the box at no extra cost to backers to have all 4 of the starting dinosaurs in amber. So that's going to be the Tyrannosaurus Rex, the Brachiosaurus, the Velociraptor, and the Triceratops, all in an amber mold that you can only get by backing it on Kickstarter.
That's so cool. I'm so happy about that. So I'll be fully honest with you. I, at the time of recording this, haven't voted yet because I can't choose. So that's the perfect news for me. And I think that will get people really excited as well, because that is that really special item that obviously ties in so well with the upcoming film as well. You've got that amber logo, and now you have all of these dinosaurs in amber as well. So that's really awesome news. And thank you for pushing to make that happen as well, because I'm sure people will be really excited about that. So
I mean, we're hard at work and we're not done.
So what I'm hearing is anyone watching this has got lots of reasons to still back this before the deadline to get those exclusive items.
Absolutely.
And I'm sure we'll really look forward to learning more about those in due course. Well, you've blown this out of the water, Adam. I was going to ask you if you wanted to tease anything, and you've just hit us straight there with it. So that's really exciting. And hopefully people will be really happy to see that as well. And I think it's great that you've not just hit that target and you've gone, great, we're done. You're actually continuing to develop the product, continuing to talk to people. Because I think that's when Kickstarter as a platform really shines. So it's really cool to see that. And I guess on that fan sort of centric response that you're working on, it would be really nice to round this out by just seeing if you had a message that you wanted to share with Jurassic fans. If we take a minute to just give you a second to talk to people watching this video now, what would you like to say to them then?
Yeah, I mean, I would say to all the Jurassic fans out there, when looking at Jurassic World: The Legacy of Isla Nublar, this game was made by the fans for you, right? This is a game that is not just something that you're gonna play through and say, oh, cool. This is something that as you go from adventure to adventure, you are unlocking new things. You are constantly adding to the game, and you are adding things that are going to excite you as a Jurassic fan. They're going to be surprises. There's going to be things that you know are coming, and then there's going to be a lot of things that are going to come at you, and you're going to say, what the heck? I can't believe they put that in this game. All of the other dinosaurs that you're going to unlock, all of the characters that you're going to meet and be able to play as. I mean, it is so exciting, and it's the exciting thing because this is a game that has a bunch of spoilers that you get to discover. Yeah. But I'm like, I just want to talk about these things, but I don't want to spoil any of the surprises. So there is so much in the box. The box itself is over 7 pounds, which is a massive game. And everything that you've seen so far on maybe the Kickstarter page or in our preview videos, it's just a small part of the game. There is so much more locked away that is completely secret, and the joy of playing a legacy game like this is you get to unlock new and interesting things. And I'm making up a number here, but I would say maybe 50% of what's inside the box is locked away. So we're talking between 3 and 4 pounds of content that is stuff that you get to reveal throughout the campaign. And this is so exciting for us as a studio, as Jurassic fans, and I just know that Jurassic folks out there, and if this is a style of game that you haven't played before, then you're probably not familiar with Prospero Hall. And one of our things as a design studio is we strive to make approachable games that people can learn, even if they haven't, driven too deep into a specific style of gameplay. This is a game that you're going to be able to learn, and then the depth and complexity comes in the strategy of why you choose to do things. So there's a lot of discussion. You are working together, so it's a cooperative game. So if you have somebody at the table that's maybe more experienced with board games, then you're set, right? You're all working together constantly to try to get all of these objectives complete each game, and it's so exciting. It is so exciting to be able to play it, and the more people we get this game in the hands of, we just know it's going to take off even more than it already has.
I think it gets me really excited, and having the chance to talk to you a couple of times during this whole process has got me really excited, because I am one of those people who has never played a legacy game before, and for me this is just so exciting that it is something that is so inherently Jurassic in everything you've put into it, that like attention to detail in it alone is incredible. And then just knowing that actually I can play it once, do some things, and then come back to it and I'll still have stuff to unlock is really exciting as well. And it's that longevity that I don't think you get from other board games, so that's really exciting. So definitely looking forward to getting my hands on this. And that really brings us to a close here. So thank you so much for taking the time to do this, Adam. I really do appreciate it. Thank you. I'm sure people will be looking forward to getting their hands on it. So that's it for this video. A huge thank you to all of the team at Funko Games for giving us their time with this project. I think it's fair to say we're all really excited for Jurassic World: The Legacy of Isla Nublar, and we cannot wait for the game to release. For more details, visit the Kickstarter page, which will be linked in the description. And until the next video, guys, take care and have a great week.